Welcome to Old Guy Tech,
the OGT.TV recording studio.
Technology for the rest of us.
Hi, this is Rob with Old Guy Tech TV, and today is Crime Beat on September 22nd, 2015 with Sheriff John DeAugustini. John, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
We've had a few technical glitches. That's why you don't really see our nice fancy set, so we're over here just doing the best we can. And so we've got some county issues that we wanted to talk about, and some things that I know you feel that needs more investigation. And what I'm talking about is body cams. And for those of you out there, it seems like it's a simple thing. Flip a camera on and boom, you go, and that's all there is to it. However, we know better. We know better. There is so much more involved. Why don't we let those citizens understand what's involved in this and why you're so taking your time and researching everything and doing everything right just to make sure that we don't run into a problem. So let's talk about it a little bit.
Sure. Well, I remember back when the car cams,
dash cams
came in. Actually, I was in Amador County. I was the first deputy to have a dash cam in my car.
You're the guy.
I was the guy. I actually like it.
Yeah.
It was a great tool. It solved more complaints than it on me, which I had very few anyway. But once in a while, you get a complaint, and you show the video, and no, that's not what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and they're a good tool, but the problem is when they don't work, which back then was very frequent. It's taken many years to get through the technology and where they've operated consistently. And even now, we still have glitches. There's certain times that they come on automatically. The deputies obviously can turn them on automatically. When you get in a wreck, they go back. If the car is involved in a collision, they go back 30 seconds and automatically save that video moving forward to then and then on. So the technology, it's taken time to get to where it's been reliable,
right?
And
a usable tool.
Usable tool.
Yeah.
Then we have body cams, and it's still relatively new technology. No matter what any of the vendors will tell you,
sure,
it's still new technology. So they're going to be working all those glitches out over time. And you can imagine what the questions are when you have such technology and it's not working.
Right.
Oh, really? It wasn't working. How convenient.
Oh, gee,
right?
Isn't that?
Yeah. So that's one of the issues. The other side of the issue is this video. You're talking video and audio, the storage of it, the how to release it under Public Records Act requests, how much of it do we release, what do we release, how much do we store. We're talking terabytes of information.
Exactly.
The costs are very, very significant. And number one, I don't believe the technology is there. I don't think the time is ripe yet. I know that the Deputy Sheriff's Association, I've had a couple conversations with them about them, and they're so far on the same mindset as I am, as far as it's not time yet. We're not ready to go there yet. And then my Chief Financial Officer just got back from his annual Chief Financial Officers Conference,
right?
Which takes all the sheriff's CFOs statewide, puts them in a room, and they talk about issues and best practices, things of that nature.
Right.
And some of the agencies that have gone to body worns are now going, oh, shoot, what do we do about this? What do we do about that? And those costs that were known to be significant have become even more significant, and which is a drain on a budget. So we're not there yet.
Right.
Will we get there? Probably. Someday in the future, it's going to be kind of an industry standard. We're going to have them. But then there's a whole nother part of it, and I think we've talked about it before on the show.
Yeah.
When you use the body cams and
Right.
and the policies that will be in place as to when they're turned on, when they're recording. And I say that because for certain instances, such as interviewing a rape victim, it's one thing to interview a rape victim and have your audio recorder out there so you can make sure you get all the information for your report and for case prosecution later on. But it's another thing to now put a camera between you and that victim.
Right.
that builds a whole wall. And we're trying in law enforcement to break down those walls.
Right. Trying to build that trust.
Trying to build that trust,
yeah, right.
and now we're putting a camera out there. I think that
and a microphone.
And a mic. Yeah, it's I think that's an issue that we need to figure out a way to overcome it. Now, do we need to run audio or a video at that point, at that time? I don't think so. We have the audio. Defense attorneys will say, well, we couldn't see the body language. We have that now. We don't see the body language when we're just doing audio recordings.
Right.
When we interview suspects, sure, that makes a lot of sense using the video then.
Right.
But of course, on high profile cases anyway, we interview suspects in interview rooms that are recorded. So I don't know. There's still too many questions that need to be answered for us to take that leap. Now I know Placerville PD, they're running body cameras.
Yep.
Some of my other close agencies in the state close to us are starting to go that route. And I guess maybe for to keep it as simple as possible, the whole topic is let them work all the bugs. Let them work all the bugs out of it.
A smaller agency like the PD has an opportunity to try to work some of those bugs out and do some things. Couple of things pop into my mind right away. One is, how is the data in the video and sound, that data transferred over to a server somewhere? How does that work, and how does the security of that work? How do we make sure that that this information being transferred is never hacked into and used? Because now you have another issue with that as well. I don't know if these body cams, is this a Wi-Fi thing that gets sent? Is this literally a microchip transfer? How does this work? Do you know?
They go all different ways.
Okay, so it could be multiple ways.
They go where you put the body cam part in a cradle and it downloads.
Okay.
You have removable thumb drives. You have removable cards. You have Wi-Fi. You Bluetooth. You have all that stuff. So it depends on the technology and the vendor, the brand.
Okay.
So security, absolutely, that's a huge issue, as it is with anything that we do in law enforcement or for anybody in that regard. But again, let's let everybody else. I want to let everybody else work those bugs out. I think in El Dorado County, we still have the trust of the community. I've worked very, very hard to build that trust, and our deputies work hard daily to build that trust. That the fact that we don't have body worns is not an issue. Maybe it will become an issue someday, but I'm still just very leery of the technology. It's still new. Let's get all the bugs worked out of it. Let's get all the case laws that's going to come behind it on when and when we don't release the video. Is it an enforcement action, or is it an investigative issue?
Right.
If it's an investigative issue, then chances are we don't have to release that video because we're using it in a criminal investigation.
Right.
At what point, when that criminal investigation is over, then we do have to release it. But there's just a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, like I said, for me, the storage of this data and the security of the data is what it's like a chain of evidence that we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
So we've got that, and how the defense attorneys may attack that situation. Oh, you didn't transfer it right, or there's a blank spot here. Why is there a blank spot? It's like the Richard Nixon thing, right?
I've been there.
Yeah.
What do you mean your audio recorder didn't work? It worked for the rest of it. I don't know. I must have hit a button. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, sure you don't know, deputy. I've been questioned like that before, and it's not pleasant.
No.
But audio is one of the best tools that we have. Every deputy has an audio recorder. We encourage them to audio record every encounter.
Right.
They don't have to. Right. I mean, they download it all. They save it all later. But it's a great tool.
Sure.
And it's a great investigative tool, especially when you're going back and reviewing your interviews to write your report.
Exactly.
To make sure things are accurate. But even audio recorders have glitches. You hit the wrong button, you set it down on the table on the wrong side, or press the wrong button wrong,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's it's like
technology.
any electronics. I mean, you can have an issue
Black
with anything.
screen.
That's why we have a black screen.
Black screen today.
Because my engineer isn't here.
Technology.
So yeah, absolutely. I know there's all these people out there saying, oh, everybody should have a body cam and all that, but I think you're taking the prudent way of let's really study the issue, because you don't have a small department. We're not talking a little 10-man office here, and it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. 164 sworn or something total, including myself.
Right.
371 total employees. But yeah, if you're going to do, a $500 for every deputy on the street, or everybody else, you're talking quite a lot.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. If you could find something at $500, that's going to hold up to the scrutiny that you're going to need. And,
sure.
So.
And the abuse.
The wear and tear, the security issues. I mean, there are a total of, probably a couple of dozen issues that have to get worked out before this actually is ready for prime time. And so keep watching. I'm sure it'll happen, but I think our sheriff is doing the right job. He's being prudent with it, and I know some of you get crazy out there, and they don't like cops. So the first thing you want to say is, "Oh, you got something to hide." There's nothing to hide here. That's not the reason for it. Okay, so we want to make sure that those folks out there understand that. Just really quick, I know one of the things that happened just recently. You did have a death in the jail. You can confirm.
We did. It's currently under investigation, so I can't really comment much on it.
Placerville
in Placerville jail, in the Placerville jail. So the investigation, hopefully, these take a little bit of time.
Sure.
Want to make sure we do everything right. That's about all I can say.
Sure, understood. And I know our local paper said a few more things about it. I'm not sure how they knew.
We have a pretty robust protocol for any instances like that, officer-involved shootings, critical incidents, in custody deaths, any of those. We have very robust protocols where we have all the stakeholders come in, not only us, but also the district attorney's office, the local police department. In this instance, I believe CHP was involved. So we have everybody come in. So it's not just us saying, "Oh yeah, we took a look at it.
Right.
Everything looks fine."
Right.
So
and that never looks right when
never looks right that way. So
no, and that's a good thing. So yes, folks, that will be investigated and not
is being investigated.
And it'll be a couple of outside agencies as well. So be aware of that. One of the tools that our citizens can use, there's a website out there, and I don't know if you folks have bothered to look at it. I certainly watch it. It's kind of interesting, and it's called crimereports.com. Real simple. And I think you've seen it. I'm pretty sure I showed it to you at one time. And what it does for you out there, again, crimereports.com, is it allows you to put in your zip code, and it zeroes into your area, and you can open it up to, from a half a mile to 50 miles, whatever you want. And you can take a look at what crimes have either happened near you, and or if you have a sex offender that's living near you, you can find out. It's a mugshot and a name and an address. It talks about any critical instances. It shows that if there's a road closure situation or something happens. Very neat tool. So I wanted to share that with you guys out there. I've known about it for a while, and I find that they're getting better and better all the time in the reporting, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, those are good ones, and we also have the one that's linked to our front page of our website, and you can go down to I think it's called Online Resources or something. There's a link on the left side, and it will take you to crime mapping. That's mapped.
I forgot about that.
By our reporting, our report process, report management system. So you can go in there and look at all the crime reports that have been reported in your area. When you first pull it up, it doesn't look like much.
Right.
And what you need to do is you need to go up on the upper right-hand corner of that screen. There's a bunch of variables. You can put in the dates. You can put in the types of crimes, the distances, like you talk, all that different stuff.
Right.
And then it will it'll populate the map, and then you can click on each individual pin on the map and see what type of crime it was, and it's also very valuable. Another thing that we just had come out, and I forgot to tell you about this earlier, and a lot of folks got the phone calls countywide,
yes.
And it's not a hoax.
That's I could see why it would be, because I got the call.
Our phones blew up. The county's phones blew up. We put out press releases.
Code Red?
Code Red.
Right.
We have a new reverse 911 vendor product that we're using called Code Red. I encourage everybody to go online, go to our website, and on the bottom right-hand side, there's a link to get there as well, or you can go through the press information blogs,
right,
and also find it there, and sign up. You put your address in, and then a little map pops up to double check, is this where you are? And then you can move the pin to exactly where your home is, and then put in your cell phone numbers, your email addresses.
Yeah, it allows multiple phone numbers, multiple
landlines,
right,
everything.
Right.
Put all those in there. Make sure everything that is already in there is up to date if there's anything, and then that way, in the event of an emergency, when we do our geospatial borders
right,
for a reverse 911 call, we'll make sure that we're getting a hold of folks in the right areas. We had some problems during the King Fire, and I heard a lot of complaints last year during that incident where folks said they didn't get the phone call. They didn't get the reverse 911 phone call. They didn't get the notification. And we started looking into it, and it had to do with the software that we were using. And people were going in and updating their information because of the fire.
Right.
Well, what the program was doing was it was holding all those updates in, I believe they called them packets. And then every 24 hours it would go in and it would update the database.
Okay.
Well, the problem was, what was happening was there was a glitch, and when it would go in to update with the new packet, it would only put the packet in and everything else would go away. And then they'd have to go in and do a backup and repopulate when they realized that after the fact. And it was just a lot of headaches. So we've since done a lot of research, and it's taken us that long to finally get to a new product that's more industry standard, that's much more reliable, and very user-friendly. The graphic user interface to sign up is very user-friendly. It's very self-explanatory. Yeah. And in the event of an emergency, another emergency in this county, when it happens, not if, but when it happens, whatever it is, we feel more confident we're going to get those folks that need to be notified.
Right. And I feel that it looked like a great tool. Technology-wise, I took a look at it, and I fill us in, our address and phone numbers, and you can put in as little or as much information as you want. And there's, like I said, there's multiple phone numbers there, multiple email addresses. It'll send out a text if you can put in your cell phone number in there, so you get a text message. So I think it's going to be a great tool.
Yeah, it is. Again, it's Code Red. So everybody, you need to go on and sign yourself up for that.
Absolutely, do it. And I know some of you out there were saying to me, "Oh my God, it's an intrusion." And I had a few of those type of people. And you're going to get that in no matter what you do. You get some people who are worried about it. But I said, hey, wouldn't you rather be know that there's something going on, and they're letting you know that it's either time to evacuate or be prepared to evacuate or whatever it may be.
Absolutely, whether it's a fire or an armed wanted subject running through your neighborhood or whatever the issue may be. We want to be able to get that information out to the community. A lot of times we want the community's help.
Right.
And it works.
Right. The one thing I had a question about also is that does it come into effect during shelter-in-place situations, where you might have an incident at a school or whatever? Does it kick in and know that geographical area and call that area, or how does it work?
It can, absolutely. It can. We can literally go in on a map, draw a fence around the location, and say, send this message to everybody that's registered in that location.
Okay.
for whatever
Yeah.
for whatever location. It doesn't matter. So
Okay.
it absolutely that's the ease of use of it. Before, with the old program, they actually had to go in and put street names and zip codes and all kinds of other stuff
Right.
to get it. And then sometimes it was too broad, sometimes it was too constricted. This is the latest technology.
Great.
It's
Great.
Yeah.
Great, and it sits out there in the cloud somewhere. Either this company, Code Red or whatever, is it something that you guys are managing?
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
It's
we
good.
we pay them to manage it. And security, as far as we know, and all the reports that we have, and the research that we did, they're very, very secure. Again, but you're only putting what limited information
Yes.
that you want to put in there.
Right.
So
you know.
you should never get emails. They'll never sell your email address. They're never going to sell your cell phone number to anybody. And we control, when you get those notices, it means something from law enforcement or
Right.
from the county or
Right.
from whatever we need to through our OES, Office of Emergency Services, when we need to put out those reverse calls. There's a reason for it.
Right. I think it's a great tool.
It is.
So, so let me ask you a question. Kind of a little off the topic, but we've been watching these fires near us, not by us per se, but near us. How are you? I'm on pins and needles. I don't know about you, but I'm just nervous as hell, and I can't wait till we get some rains. Have we had any close calls?
We've had many.
Yeah.
We've had many. We've had a lot of fires start in the county. Fire departments and CAL FIRE have been on them right there, boom,
Right.
putting them out. Fires that could have turned into something really, really bad, obviously, if they were unattended to. But yeah, I would say, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but there was a time during that hot spell when it seemed like there was 3 and 4 a day that were popping up here and there. But again, they were right on them. I went to one out in South County, out off of Fairplay Road. I was happened to leave the house to go to a meeting, and I heard the call came out, and I responded, and I was right behind the fire department, and our staff, our deputies were rolling as well for possible evacuation.
Right.
And when I got there, I was literally minutes behind the fire department. They had 4 or 5 engines there, and they had taken a helicopter from the Butte Fire and directed it over there to drop some water on. They just hammered them. So,
yeah, good.
Am I leery? Absolutely. We're not out of the woods. This little nice cooling off period we have is great.
Doesn't mean anything.
It lightens up the fuel,
little bit.
ignition rate, but we're not out of the woods by far.
No, I'm still quite nervous.
We had a lot of we had 7 deputies 24/7 over there on the Butte Fire when it was going, and then prior to that, down at the Trinity Complex, when I believe it was called the Rag Fire was going on in Lake County or that area. A lot of folks don't know this, but another huge fire complex started off in Trinity County.
Right.
Well, that fire in the Lake County area drained all of the mutual aid resources from surrounding areas.
Right.
So when the Trinity complex kicked off, there were really no resources there. So we sent deputies all the way up there from here. And then that one kind of dwindled down, was contained, or for the most part contained. They released a lot of the resources, including our deputies. And then the Butte Fire kicked off, and we were, right when it started, I got a hold of Sheriff Martin Ryan in Amador County and said, whatever you need, we're here. And he immediately pulled the big red handle from mutual aid, and we sent 7. So we had 7 over there 24/7, working both in Amador County and Calaveras County. But I had a lot of folks that again, my career was in Amador County before being elected sheriff here.
Right.
So I knew a lot of folks and have a lot of old partners that lived over there that were evacuated. None of them lost their homes, but the
thank
devastation over there has been just huge.
Latest count I was looking at, the Lake County fire was over 1,700 homes destroyed, homes and outbuildings. Yeah. Oh,
That's
it's
so terrible.
It's horrible. And it was an area. What got me is it was an area that already had another huge fire last year. That these poor guys got hammered twice. I mean, I can't imagine. We've had a couple of small fires, but I can't imagine twice. It's like,
No, that was, when the King Fire was going on, and they had the same instances with these fires, talking with some of the fire guys about why, they kept saying it's a fuel-driven fire. It's not a weather-driven fire. It wasn't. It was fuel-driven. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, there's just so much fuel, and it's 100% ignition rate. I said, what does that mean? They said, all it needs is an ignition source, and that fuel will light. The humidity is so low.
Right.
It is so dry. The temperatures are so high that it just
Doesn't
all it
take
needs
anything.
is any ignition source, and it might smolder, it might do this. No, it's gonna light,
right.
and that's what the problem was.
I have a pet peeve, and it still drives me to this day. I think guys, first of all, they're smoking, and and they'll just flick the butt out.
Oh no, yeah.
It's
or
like
another one that drives me nuts is it's 100 degrees outside, 3:00 in the afternoon, and you see somebody mowing a field
yes,
with a riding lawnmower.
yes.
Or a push any mower.
No, guys, they tell you
that.
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Jeez. Yeah, I know. Yeah, people don't think. I know that I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, somebody had started a small little spot fire, and they were on it really quick, but he was out weed whacking. And all it took was a couple of rocks bumping in, and there it went.
Boom.
And, so yeah, absolutely. That's something that we just don't want to happen out here.
No.
So let's talk about your facilities situation a little bit. I know that we're moving ahead, right?
We're moving ahead. The property's in escrow.
Okay.
They're going through all the CEQA and the environmental impact statements. The money for the property was programmed into the budget, so $2.7 million programmed in to purchase it. Hopefully that will take place sometime around February. Financing for the entire project is still up in the air as to what vehicle to use and what's the most the cheapest, obviously.
Right.
Right now, one that looks very, very extremely attractive is USDA brick and mortar money. It's for rural counties, something. I can't remember the name of it, but when I researched it years ago, few years ago now, it was for literally very rural counties, Alpine County, Modoc County, 5,000 residents or whatever.
Right.
And they just, they don't have the tax base to be able to afford a county facility of any type,
right.
let alone, a large sheriff's office, large public safety facility. And those monies are there for them. It's very cheap, long-term, for them to be able to afford capital improvements.
Right.
But again, the limitations were so strict on the size and the population and the budget that we didn't even come close to qualifying. Well, apparently there's a little known exemption or exception, and for public safety. So the county has actually submitted a pre-app.
Yeah.
About that thick.
It's government.
To see if we can actually, if we're qualified to apply.
Okay.
It looks good. It sounds good. It sounds like we will be, but we still have to go through that process. If so, again, like I said, it's cheap money. I can't remember the interest rate, but it's very low and very long term, so 40, 50 years.
Wow. Good.
And it will make it very affordable for the life, especially the life expectancy of the building. Also, the county went out months ago, they went to RFQ, request for qualifications, for firms to do what's called the bridging documents. So basically, all of the documents to come up that the county needs to come up with to put out an RFP to go out for bid.
Right.
So preliminary design work, preliminary landscaping, preliminary mitigation, all that other stuff. So the county had already gone out for an RFQ just for companies that were qualified to even submit.
Right.
And they had a list of those, and then to those that met that criteria, they put out an RFP for the bridging documents. And from what I understand, those are back. And then there's a committee that needs to meet to go over them to give the award. So the neat thing about that is this is where, in my opinion, the fun stuff really happens.
Yeah.
Because we really get to start talking about nuts and bolts on design and requirements.
Fun stuff.
The fun stuff,
Yeah.
the really good stuff that's going to end up with a really good project. And you want to do it as thorough as you possibly can,
Right.
obviously, so you don't end up with what kills a civil project like this.
Yeah.
Change order.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So you want to make sure you have as much
Huge
information up front.
Change orders that you, yeah.
Will
I
kill
mean,
you.
yeah, absolutely. It'll
So-
throw you way off budget.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to being involved in that process. My staff involved in that process. We've already gone around and looked at a lot of other newer facilities. We know we're learning what works, what doesn't work. It's neat to go to somebody who's built, and we've been to a number of them who've built brand new facilities, and hear the not what's great.
Yeah,
you
but
can see that, but I wish we'd have done this different.
Yeah, what?
I wish we'd have done that different. Those are the things that really stand out.
Right.
But I think, I've said it on here before. I think we're past the point of no return. I think the board they're committed to it. They're focused on it. It's absolutely a necessity, a need that needs to be done. And I'm really looking forward to when they finally put a shovel in the ground. And I'm gonna go get one of those hard hats.
Yes.
That look like cowboy hats.
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna go get one of those and put a couple stickers on it because
Yeah.
I want to be involved in the process.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to do a couple of things when I was chairman of the Transportation Commission like that, and it's always exciting to see. If it isn't too long of a term project, but it's exciting to see it from start to finish. You
Yeah,
get that.
the Gantt schedule show right now October of 2018 as completion.
Wow.
Obviously, I'd like to see it sooner than that.
Yeah, but still,
no,
that's not horrible.
It's right there.
Yeah, yeah,
It's right there. It'll be towards the end of this term for me.
yeah.
So it'll be good. That'll give me at least another full term to
Yeah.
be able to
Play with your new
really
building.
enjoy the honeymoon, I guess you could
Yeah,
call it.
oh, yeah.
Enjoy the honeymoon with all of the staff and the efficiencies that will be realized when it's complete.
I think that's cool, and sorely needed. And as you said, how many times have I mentioned? All you need to do is go into the old building and take a look at what you guys are living in, and you kind of go, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it's definitely one of those things. I know that the last time this was brought up, I got a couple of emails from people. Yeah, it's another waste of government money. Our taxes being no.
I understand where those folks are coming
Well-
from because it is a lot of money, but I pride myself on being probably the most fiscally conservative elected official in this county. And
to your detriment.
when I to my
I hate to
detriment
tell you this.
sometimes. But when I look at what we have and where we've been and where we need to be, we can't do much more without it. We have to. This has been talked about since the first documents for change for design about this need the conversations were started in 1989.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long ago they started this conversation. So it's time. It's got to get done. The county's moving forward. Things are always moving forward. And like I said, my biggest nightmare is getting a phone call from the undersheriff or somebody saying, guess what? OSHA just left and there's a nice big red bow. What do we do?
Yeah.
Because there really are no options with an agency our size. There's
Right.
nothing out there to split
It's
it.
not like you can move it right
No.
in. No, it's it wouldn't be good, and let's hope that doesn't happen. So we won't. OSHA guys don't watch the show.
No.
I don't. No code enforcement people for this.
It is what it
It
is.
is what it is.
It is what it
But
is.
that's exciting. Actually, I'm excited for you. I think that's a neat thing and well needed for our guys and gals out there working. They need to have a good place to
Hopefully on
work.
one of these shows, I can send you some digitals before the show, and we can put them up on the
Yeah.
screen of design and kind of the things we're talking
Oh,
about
that'd be cool.
doing. That would be neat.
That would be neat. That'd be neat. And I know that I know you're excited about getting your department all under one roof.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that'd be heaven.
And I'm sure you've done the studies on how much all these leases are running you.
The last I heard, we're about $250,000. Around $250,000 on off-site facility leases alone. That's not including the soft costs that go along with them, all of the other utilities.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a hard cost, but the soft cost of time back and forth. If I need to look at a personnel file, I either got to drive up to support services and spend time up there and then drive all the way back, or somebody has to get in their car and drive
Bring
it
it
all
to
the
you.
way down
Yep.
to me.
Yep.
If I need I want a briefing on a major criminal case investigation, I got to drive over to PRO's Road. I go in, we sit down with the detectives, and then I drive back, or they come over to my office.
Right.
The mail. Just think of the mail.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it comes to one spot, and then we have our stars. God bless them, but they're still spending fuel and vehicle wear and
Yeah.
tear, dispersing the mail back
Right.
out to the different departments in the county
Right.
of the agency.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it's just everything. It'll work out really well. So that'll be what's going to be nice is that'll be something we'll keep an eye on, and the sheriff will share with us what's going on with that. I'm excited about that.
Absolutely.
I can't. We've reached our mark here in time, and I want to.
We didn't get to everything.
Yeah, I know. You got something else you want to talk about?
No, good.
I think we really did pretty good, actually. It wasn't a big news day today, but of course, again, thank you very much for coming in and doing with this. For the folks out there that do watch it, I think they learn a lot, and I have a great time doing it. And,
Me too. It's a nice break during the week.
Yeah.
Dealing with county government and politics and stuff.
oh yeah, I mean,
Good.
Yeah, because we could talk about county government for
Yeah.
quite a while. So
We had to talk before the show started today about some.
It never changes, folks.
Amazes me.
It never changes. So, anyway, thank you, John. Hey, out there, thank you for watching Old Guy Tech TV Crime Beat. And once again, stay safe.
Yeah.